this year we put an emphasis on wildlife habitat improvement. We burnt several hundred acres, a couple 40 acres here, 30 acres there, one big burn of about 100 acres. And I was really pleased with the outcome of that. Deer and turkeys were browsing it before it was even done smoking and smoldering. So really pleased with the efforts there.
All right, so still a little smoky here. We're just now kind of getting up down here by the draw, but as you can see up here in the tree, little Barry's just taking a little rest. He came up out of here, and I have some video of that. He came up out of this little draw here where I just walked. There's some kind of old mine shafts down in here. A few years ago, I know they stayed in here a lot, but I hadn't seen any in the last few months, so I assumed they weren't in here. But anyways, he came out of there and crawled up in this tree to let the fire go through, and he'll probably get down later and go back to his little hole. Kind of feel bad for him. This is actually benefiting him, even though he's just letting it go through. It's a natural occurrence that doesn't happen enough. This piece that we're on right here, it's been over 50 years since it's been burned, and that's why it is so smoky, is mainly because of how thick that leaf litter was. So it's going to be really beneficial for all wildlife and birds and everything, but we'll just let him rest and snooze and let this fire burn out, and he'll go back to his hole.
This spring, within days after us burning, turkey season opened up, and it was one of our best turkey seasons in probably the last 6-7 years. Northern Arkansas has a decline in turkey numbers, but the last year or two we've had a good hatch, and I'm really hoping that this fire and this burning, the succession program improves that.
Job done anyway.
Trying to check cameras, and we're off on the back side of the property here in a cedar glade that is rough as all get out. It's just an old ridge that comes down, and bottom's a really nice field, hay field, and top's nice hay field. In between, it's just cedar glades and rough timber. Some of the best oaks that deer like to hit in this area are chinkapins. Chinkapins produce really small acorns, and they're the primary acorn that deer like on this ridge. If you notice here, I've got a camera set up right here. The camera's facing kind of an old grown up field, and there's always scrapes right here on this little pass through. An early season, I seem to get some deer just to ease up through this field. It needs kind of brush hogged a little bit. Hey, there's some deer right there. Whoa! Is that what I think that is, guys? Look at that. Hey. Really? Oh, did you guys find another one? Yeah. Look at that. Kind of matching set right out here. Hey, Milo, Millie, load up. Let's go. Come on. It's a nice find right there. It's not every day you see that. It's right out here in the middle of the field. Milo, load up. Load back up. Get up. Nice find on the other one. That's good. Something that has really helped me this year, which is an indirect fix, is this painted arrow phone case. I have a phone case and it just locks in and it sits there when I shoot. Last year I had a really good buck and I chose to put my camera equipment up and just kind of dive in there with just my bow, and ended up being a really successful hunt, and regret it that I didn't have some way to at least video and document it. But in the process of doing this, it added a little bit of weight, and everybody who shoots Matthews bows know that it drops down, right? And adding this just dropped down a little bit more than what I like. So what I ended up doing is adding a back weight, and I've seen people shoot them and I just never have really engaged with it. But this back weight leveled my bow out a lot, and when I say benefited me, I didn't realize what an extra pound on my bow would do. By the time I put my phone and everything on there, I'm assuming it's close to a pound. Haven't actually weighed it out, but that extra weight on my bow really has made me significantly more consistent in the last couple times shooting it. And I've kind of done some research, and it kind of shows that when you're pulled in and you lock in with your bow, that extra weight means that you're not going to move your bow involuntarily as much as you would if it was light. When you're out here and little tweaks, your bow moves all around. That extra weight, when you lock in, actually steadies your bow. My targets and my shooting has been significantly more accurate since doing that. So just a little bit of a trial and error, and if that's something that you're starting to struggle with, I never had issues with it until here recently, and this has really solved it. Didn't change arrows, didn't change anything. Just a little minor weight adjustment made all the difference in the world. Something to try if you're struggling. All right, so I wanted to mention this target for a few. This is a cheap. All this contraption, 30 bucks tops. Couple old targets. This is a cheap Encore target. It's like 7 bucks. I actually use Devor.com, DVOR. It's an app. You can find things on sale half the time. Paid 7 bucks for this. I like it because it's a lot cheaper than a $200 large 3D target. They have all kinds of different animals. Super simple in my backyard where I just shoot every now and then. I do most of my shooting out at the farm, but just something super cheap and easy if you're interested. But what I really wanted to talk about is shot placement here. If you notice, the bullseyes are up here. I rarely use a bullseye on a target because when I'm out in the woods, it's something else for me to think about, drawing my pin down a little bit lower than I normally would. I've done it for years, but I started just saying, forget that. I'm just going to aim right where I normally would aim, right at the crease of that shoulder. By doing that, I do feel like I have been a little bit more successful out in the woods. It's just psychological that people sometimes just don't think about. How many times you've been out in the woods hunting or shoot at something and you go, why did I do that? And you kick yourself. When you're out practicing, I highly recommend practice like the real world. And this is just something that I've started doing, and it's really noticed an improvement in my shot selection and shot placement on deer. Oh, you getting something to drink? It's pretty hot today. Billy, come on. It's kind of a unique spot here. Had a tree fall down here not too long ago, but the spring got some caves up above it. Pretty much runs year round, and right down here below me is a pretty big pool of water, but always a good spot just to see all kinds of critters.
Haven't really got any buck pictures on camera yet, but we're hoping. One of the spots we burned, you can kind of see behind us here. It's we're starting to see a lot of grass, a lot of forage for these deer to be able to come up in and graze, and hopefully in a year or two it's going to be some good nesting area for turkeys. But you can kind of tell. I mean, it kind of looks a little bit desolate, but this was all just leaf litter, zero food source for deer other than a few acorns. And now that we're looking at this, you can actually see that we're going to get some grass, we're going to get some bedding, we're going to get some food source for animals in areas that's never had food source before. I consider this the best food plot you can have, a natural food plot. The things I have here is this is some rack rub. It's from Code Blue. I've used it last year, and I can't say that I have just a ton of extra luck using this other than, than other stuff, but we're late August here. I'm starting to see some bucks. This is a spot that's usually got some scrapes each and every year. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this rack rub kind of on these branches here. And it's kind of a good licking branch. Deer like to stop. It's just, I can't say it makes a huge difference, but I can say that deer do stop and look at it. But I don't notice a huge difference on the scraping and whether or not they make a scrape there or not. But I have it, so we're going to use it. Milo Millie, it's time to go. About to get a rainstorm. Set out some cameras, checked some cameras, and got some pigs in one spot. We kind of baited that area up and hoping to trap some pigs the next couple days. Also got some good video, some good pictures of some deer that I didn't even know existed, so that's good news. We've got quite a few deer this year. Nothing just big, but got some decent bucks for our area, so it's seeming like it might be an alright year. I was skeptical towards the end of last year, but it seems to be doing okay as of right now.